You are in for a treat at the conference that's coming up on how you can build your business and make it strong in copywriting, the bootcamp that Ted Nicholas is offering. We've got one of the speakers joining us right now, and he joins us, Trevor Crook. Trevor, thanks for being with us today.
Welcome, Terry. Happy to be here.
Hey, this is going to be great. I understand you've got a presentation. Now, I love what you call this. It is how to outwit, outword, and outsell your competition. That sounds like a really good thing to do and pretty necessary in today's environment. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be telling us and communicating to us that'll benefit us as attendees.
Sure, Terry. Look, I mean, obviously, the event's about copywriting, but, it comes down to the words you choose and then use in your marketing. And it can be everything from the first words that come out of your mouth to your business card, ultimately to your sales letters. So teaching people a process on how to really look at their words, everything from profiling their customers, because unless you profile your customers correctly and then craft your offer, you can't really come up with the best headline. And your headlines are responsible for 80% of your sales. So the whole process I want to teach really goes through that from start to finish, as much as possible over a 90-minute period. But, to give you an example, many years ago when I started studying copywriting myself, I was looking at an advert that wasn't done by me. It was done by a guy we know called Dan Kennedy, where one of his clients added one single letter, an S, to a headline. Now, the result in that one letter, an S, was an increase in results of 300%. And that really sort of slammed me between the eyes to understand that, you've really got to look at your headlines and every single word counts, because unless you do that, you're leaving money on the table. So it really, from my perspective, turned me into a keen student, and I'm still a student of obviously marketing and copywriting.
Yes.
But, if people, listening to this, and then the people that, do come to the event, if they understand that whilst copywriting may not be easy, they put the time and effort in to get their words correctly, the result's going to be in their bank account, and they won't be leaving money on the table like their competitors. Yeah,
absolutely. It's worth the time, money, and effort to put into that to get just the right word, but it's very difficult. Like you said, it's not something that is going to be easy, even though it seems like it's easy. Hey, you're just making up a word, and once you've got it, you think it's easy. What are some of the things that help you when you're writing your own copywriting that help you to wordsmith and to come up with just the right word or words, as you said, adding that S, that work?
Well, the first thing I try and do, and what I teach my clients, is to teach them how to profile their customers correctly, because unless you profile who you're actually selling to and not assume who you're selling to, okay, that's going to be the difference between success and failure. And to give you an example, one of my clients from years ago, the Tai Chi instructors, and they'd sent me through a 2-page sort of flyer letter to critique, and so I got my client on the phone, and I asked a few simple questions. The first question was to John was this: who are your clients, male or female? His response was very quick: female. I said, okay, John. Question number 2: what's the percentage of your clients are females? Is it 60%, 70%? He goes, at least 80%. So in 2 questions, I knew that 80% of their paying customers were female.
That's good to know.
I then asked a third question. I said, okay, what are the age groups? Do you have any idea? Are they 35 to 45, 45, 55, 55, 65? His answer was almost instant. It was 45 to 55. So 3 questions, I knew that 80% of their paying customers, women aged between 45 to 55. And I asked him one more question. There's about 11 profiling questions that I go through that help me get the words correctly. And the last one was, well, what's the number one reason they come to you for? And he goes, simple, stress relief. Now, 4 simple questions, we knew who was giving them the majority of their money. None of their marketing called out and identified those specific people. So imagine if he had a headline that said, attention ladies aged between 45 and 55 who want stress release, how much more business they would have got. So it can be as simple as that.
That makes sense. So you're being very specific. And I guess the next question is, well, then how do you find out all that information? That's pretty detailed, and it's not something you do on the first time someone's coming through. What have you seen works best for that?
Well, in a typical scenario, I know when I start to talk to my clients and get them to do a brain dump, the information is there in their head a lot of the times. In other times it can be tracked statistically. In this case with John, his answers were straight away. And when I asked him to get me the exact figure, it was actually 90% of their paying customers are women. Mm-hmm. But what I find is many customers and many people assume that information is not relevant, so they don't use it in their marketing. So, it becomes a process. Now, if you've got a brand new business, well, sometimes, they're guessing, but you really shouldn't have to guess. You need to do some market research.
So you're saying over time you get a chance to know your customers, kind of in a way like Harvey McKay talked about, having the McKay 66. As you get to know someone, you're gradually entering that information. And the person you're talking about, he had done his research over time to make sure he knew that they were at least 80%, come to be find out, 90% female, their age bracket, and why they're coming to him. Seems like a really good idea for all of us.
Yeah, because once people can identify who's actually buying, who's investing in their products or services, they can go and specifically target those types of people. Where people fail is they assume, and we all know what assume means, and we don't want that happening to people. So, you combine that, and then one of the things I stress to people, I used to always do a minimum of 50 headlines, but Ted's main focus is doing at least 150 headlines, and I sort of really teach that aspect now as well, because when I stand up at events, most people in the room flat are getting one person out of 100 that's written more than 10 headlines, and they wonder why their sales are suffering.
Yeah.
And are you familiar with? I'm sure you're familiar with David Ogilvy.
Yes, exactly. He knew a thing or two about advertising.
He knew a thing or two about advertising, and many people are familiar with his Rolls-Royce advert.
Yes.
Now, what I'm guessing 99% of people don't know that was his 104th headline. He didn't get it right the first time.
But it was worth the time, money, and effort he had to put in 104 times to get that one that says the loudest sound you will hear is the clock ticking when you're at 60
Correct.
miles an hour. He had it more concise than that, but I'm sure he wordsmithed it, he worked with it. And I guess the whole point on that is what you're saying, Trevor. It's going to take time. It's going to take work. And when we do that, it's well worth it, because for David Ogilvy, it certainly was. And the kind of things that we're going to cover there at the Copywriting Bootcamp are going to be worth it. Trevor, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you, even before the event and afterwards as well?
Sure. Terry, they can email me, trevor@trevorcrookblog.com. That's TREVOR, and then at TREVORCROOKBLOG.com. Or they can add me on Facebook, facebook.com/Toecracker, TOECRACKER.
That's right. And that toe cracker, we're going to find that out when we come to the boot camp, where that came from?
You will, yes. I'll reveal that at the boot camp for sure.
That will be good. All right. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for the information you've got. We're really looking forward to seeing you. That'll be at the Ultimate Copywriting Bootcamp that's coming up on January 22, 23, 24 in 2011. I'm Terry Brock. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Trevor, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Terry.